Hello and welcome to PressAToGo. Today I'd like to introduce a new series to the channel, Switch Spotlight. In this series we'll be talking about indie games for the Nintendo Switch, so whenever you see Switch Spotlight in the title, you'll know exactly what you're getting yourself in for. Today I'd like to talk about the game that inspired me to start this series, as well as one that really resonated with me at this point in my life. Today's Switch Spotlight will focus on Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods was a Kickstarter project headed by Alec Holowka, Scott Benson and Bethany Hockenberry of Infinite Fall that launched in 2013 and had its $50,000 goal fully funded by supporters within 26 hours. The game released in January of 2017 with extremely positive reviews and was ported to the Nintendo Switch a year later. The game is a narrative-rich adventure in which the player assumes the role of May Borowski as she returns to her small mining town after dropping out of college. We are introduced to her family and friends within the opening hour of the game as the world becomes ours to explore. I will say here that if you're not a huge fan of narrative-focused games, then this probably isn't the one for you. A lot of the game focuses on you exploring May's town and interacting with the locals day by day. This is where a lot of the charm really starts to come from within the game though. It's easy enough to rush headlong into the next beat of the story, but there are also plenty of things to do and people to see within the town each day itself. You can stop by May's friend Selma's to hear what new poetry she's written, or even steal pretzels from an underground vendor to feed a family of rats. It's really quite sweet to discover whatever it is you stumble upon whilst you play, so I won't spoil any more of those side story interactions here. But I heartily encourage you to give areas just a once over every day to see what kind of goings on are happening. Another neat addition in the gameplay is that you're able to make conversational choices whilst chatting with characters. Even from the start of the game, you get to decide the precise events of May's recollection of her grandfather. A lot of these don't make a drastic change to the outcome of conversation, but they do allow just a little extra freedom for you to develop May's reactions to certain things however you want. The main focus of the narrative is between May's friends and bandmates from home, Greg, his boyfriend Angus, and her new friend Bea. The interactions and progression of each of these characters differs on who you wish to hang out with each day, when the opportunity arises. I focused a lot of my first playthrough just hanging out with Greg, because I found him the most appealing out of the two, but his narrative of also being a gay man who feared of becoming trapped in his small hometown also resonated a lot with me, and I couldn't bring myself to not see his character arc through to the end. The game also manages to represent a lot of other fears and thoughts of millennials brilliantly well, without ever feeling ham-fisted. The worry May has about coming home after finally getting out of her town and not being able to accomplish anything with her life is one that really hit home for me, having come to the end of my university degree when I was playing this, and I really had no idea where I was going myself. The scripting of this game is beautiful, and there were points when I just stopped playing to admire how eloquently certain things were worded by characters. Within Night in the Woods, there are several mini-games that you can play to occupy your time outside of the main story. There's a rhythm game in which you can practice May's bass playing for her band. This is pretty fun, but the harder songs in the game do get a little confusing when you've got to hit a higher speed, and I'd easily slip up and hit B when I should have hit X. Though it does feel pretty rewarding when you get a nice combo of notes going, and I found myself going back to play the first song you unlock just because it was a simple way to break up the gameplay. There's also a roguelike game on May's laptop called Demon Tower. Personally, I didn't play much of this past the first two levels, but again it helps to break up the gameplay and is a neat little arcade game that you need to hack and slash your way through. There's a lot to the story of Night in the Woods, and it's one best experienced firsthand. I've only showed things off from the first hour of the game as to really give nothing away. The game retails at £17 on the Switch's eShop, and it's one I'd really recommend if you enjoy a good narrative based game. The 8 to 10 hour playtime makes sure the story is succinct and never really drags at any point, whilst also offering you the option to explore the town and make your own discoveries about the people of Possum Springs, which May also keenly notes down for you to peruse at your leisure. The game is so heartfelt, dealing with characters and issues in an appropriate way without ever diminishing them, whilst also twisting in a gripping mystery that will keep you engaged right until the credits roll. If you're looking for something new to pick up on Switch and fancy getting absorbed by an engaging narrative, then Night in the Woods is the one for you. If you enjoyed watching this video and you're looking to see more Nintendo Switch indie games reviewed on this channel, then make sure to leave this video a like and subscribe so you don't miss anything in the future. Leave a comment for me telling me which indie games you've been playing recently, or if you've played Night in the Woods, tell me what you thought about it. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.